up versus Ballista, and really the agent composition is something we should come back to here. I mean, a lot of this kind of information gathering, we could talk about Killjoy and how, you know, that it's kind of preemptive and it really requires the enemy to push in for you to really pick up any of that information. With the lack of a Sova and a Sky here as well, which we know is a prominent pick for Ballista, it's going to be difficult here. I mean, really, they have to overextend. They have to go out hunting for that information early on, which we know leans into their playstyle, but it's a concern on Icebox, Lauren.
It certainly is, and I'm loving Acend just hyper-aggressive to take so much space initially, and using these not quite as close quarter walls as we saw Angel putting down, but look at the pressure already coming out from Acend. This is great stuff. But again, you still have someone like Batty G on the board who is one of these players who seems to thrive in the mayhem, and you're not going to be able to get away with it completely. Ballista do play a very aggressive style of their own, so I'm sure they're more than happy to meet them halfway on this, but Acend has a huge advantage on that fight. QXV gonna go for like a UVC joke, but couldn't make it in time, but no laughing matter is
Piąteczka, witam serdecznie. Piąteczka, witam serdecznie.
Punishing every aspect of Ballista here and leaving it just down to 2.
Problemy Najmana, problemy Najmana.
As Batty G does find Acend, you got the readjust coming out from Killers. That's great work from him.
Really, really nicely done with the dismiss there to get back behind Yellow. Sure you can break line of sight, makes
Czekaj, jak to wygląda, jest miniaturka w ogóle, bo nie wiem.
And really, actually now, back on whether or not Ballista are gonna invest a little back into this round. Again, Acend still carrying some lesser weapons through on this, so building momentum massively in terms of economy early on.
Bank.
Yes,
7k for Killers already on the reinvest. Well, I guess he's just still got the same gun.
Dobra, miniaturka działa.
That's a big chunky bank for coming into the 5th round.
Well, it was the Ghost into the Spectre now, so then he gets the upgrade on the Spectre also. Insane momentum built early on. QXV grabbed the orb early on A side.
Pyk, pyk, dobra, działa. Można oglądać.
Batty G sending out some feelers early on, but this is the sort of thing I mean, right? They have to make these plays on defense if they want to find any of this information. And it's risking a lot, right? It's risking a 1v1 duel, potentially losing that first blood and opening the round up as Killers will open the round up.
Again, finally quelled, but Rez, you can't get away from Reina too easy, and these knives are making some tags.
Ostatni nóż.
Actually could get it again, doubling down on poor old Killers, who's just been revived to me.
Ale go sieknął ostatnim nożem w głowę, nie?
Ensues, but you still have so much presence on the side. Batty G is there, even with the lesser weaponry, they're still making it work. Kareme down on the SMG too. Spike is down though, and these knives are just the absolute factor of equalizing this round out.
That's it now.
Whoa!
QXV actually on for the ace here. He could pop over.
Bravo!
That Bone Cold will land shots there, so brings it to a 1v1. Kareme. This is Bone Cold. Kareme actually going aggressive here. Bone Cold does have another snake bite available. Potentially put the wall down to try and block the snake bite there, actually. This is perfect. He's got the wall. He needs to jump up over the top. Bone Cold's wise to it though. Look at this. He's going to swing over. Finds the kill.
Co tu się dzieje w ogóle? Ja pierdolę.
Well played there.
I'm truly liking the evolution of what we've seen.
Będzie dobry meczyk, nie? Będzie dobry meczyk.
Be it the walls, we've been in both situations where walls have potentially disrupted some of what Viper wants to do, be it completely intentionally or not. It has worked pretty well, forcing them to fight and bring them closer. So I actually really like that.
Bring them closer.
Considering
Let's go.
Viper is a very pocket pick anyway, we see it here and there. And this is Bone Cold having to take the fight a little bit closer now after, as you can see, the wall kept that kind of, you know, a little bit of work he was trying to do towards a spike, not going as well as it had wanted. So great work from that. Absolutely love to see it. Now,
such a close round, my friend.
Maybe the more Viper gets played or Icebox gets lent on. We do have the ops coming out. QXV. Receiving a little bit of flak. Careful now.
An awkward angle for QXV to re-exploit. Actually, Morphan tuck himself right behind this wall. He's going to line up for him. He's going to catch the first two. Acend quickly trades that out though. Viper ultimate going to cut off a lot of these sight lines for Ballista to try and find an entry back onto site. Stars are going to throw the wall down, going to give him a safe plant, and it's open as well. They can play deep post plant here. The lockdown actually forced them out of the Viper zone. This is a nice counter here from Ballista.
Yeah, this is huge. It's kind of nerfing a little bit of what Viper can achieve. Starkso just around the back.
Ale Starkso zagrał!
Now gone.
Woo!
Problems for QXV. What can you do about this? 3 more players in front of you, desperately trying to find anyone willing to try and make the play.
Starkso w ogóle kurwa 500 IQ, nie?
Brilliantly done. I love the
Starkso.
seeing.
Co za
Constantly
runda.
dealing with Viper's utility here. We've got new counters coming out pretty quickly now.
Oh, this is huge again. 6-0 scoreline now, and look at it. Ballista back down to pennies. They'll throw a couple of sheriffs at this one, but a big investment there. Obviously, the Blade Storm used in the previous. Not sure if the run it back was popped there, but the lockdown invested also. So
No, rozwalenie lockdownu to było 500 IQ w ogóle, nie?
Acend keeping 3 alive. Again, it's majority survival, so their economy is rolling right now. I mean, Coldham entered down to 2800, but they've got 2, potentially 3 drops out for the next couple of rounds, and CNED back on the Blade Storm as well, and they can ride out a save round on that one. Oh, we do have. Oh no, did just unpause. Thought we had a timeout for a second there, but Ballista not wanting to put the stops on just yet.
No. This need an answer as well.
Kilka rund było close,
I'm not sure what
nie?
the answer is from them. Again, they've had a couple of close rounds. Kareme very quiet so far. Almost going James Bonding on this, but
James Bonding there.
Not necessarily force, but it is an upgraded round.
Yeah, a little bit of a miscommunication there. There was 3 players looked up at the recon bolt and actually got a tag onto all 3 players. The 4th not noted, but straight away you can see Acend hitting the rotate here because recon bolt was not dealt with.
Yeah, they 100%. I say 100%.
Patrzcie, Bone Cold! Bone Cold!
On this side, and Bone Cold catching the flank, just gonna be waiting for anyone coming around the back, which could be potentially 2. The Phoenix could be the problem. Does he play patient? Yes, he does, but look at the way Batty G is playing this above. The adjustment not good enough. Bone Cold outdone by Batty G, but a quick trade for Cold and Menta secures that flank, and now they can focus towards that CT side retake. CNED holding a lovely angle that should work well. Killers helps him out.
Alright, we weren't watching CNED. It's fine. Not usually on it. Not usually on the Vandal, is it? It's an operator, and
yeah,
we'll let him off. A convincing start here. I mean, like I said, the one big thing I wanted to see out with Ballista with this agent composition was some proactive defensive rounds from them, but it doesn't seem they really as well rehearsed here. And I know the desk have touched on this. The other series we have seen them, they have stumbled on defense, especially with a composition like this, and it needs to be a recurring trend now.
CNED already looking for that opportunity. He might just get it. He has more fans dead and gone.
Second, yeah.
And he's going to chase this down. CNED's aggression is unbridled at this point. QXV trying to sit on his own here. A little less supported than he'd like. Sage is in the back lines, but QXV barely alive. 30 HP and now pinned in. No one's going to be able to bail him out of this one. Bonecall does find Kareme, and there we go. This is great work from Acend. They are just absolutely belting these sites. Ballista, I've been impressed with them individually, but as a collective, this map is not theirs.
Yeah, I mean, that was a shot. QXV actually burning his dash to get back behind yellow, and at that point, it's really difficult for him to hold on to that position, especially when you know it's going to be 2, potentially 3 enemies he's spotted. They're going to try and close the distance on that operator. Got to anticipate that in that scenario. And again, like I said, using the dash to get to yellow doesn't really get him out of safety. It doesn't get him out of harm's way. It just gets him off B lane.
Masakra.
And again, I'm pretty sure though, for people just tuning in, they're like, how did Ballista get here? I mean, this map is not within their wheelhouse. It looks like they're still, even by, I guess, Lothar's standards of knowing a little bit more of the Polish scene, that they're not one of the more experienced teams, for sure. They're one of the slightly newer ones to this, and Bone Cold gets such a big advantage. As soon as that wall goes down, just execution. Onto 2, make it 3, he's walking through them. Bone Cold, ice cold on Icebox, looking so comfortable. More fans just watch his team get absolutely slaughtered, and now position noted. CNED gives him a fade away, and it's all comfortable. And again, this isn't a map for Ballista, I've got to say, and we haven't been able to see too much of them. Look up the stats, you know, we look at the history they've been able to bring. They've had some great results, but it's on a very small-ish map pool. We haven't been able to test them against a wider scene yet. We don't know the depth of this team. And again, we were impressed with the playstyle they brought before. Hyper-aggression worked really well, but again, they haven't maybe had the time to implement that across a deeper map pool.
You're really with 7 games on record, really, from what we can look at. And again, another Death touched on it. How much you want to read into those results in the early lifespan, I guess, for Ballista at this level, at least. I mean, if they want a chance to really play back into this on the second half, where we expect Ballista to shine, right? That leans better into their play style. They got to close out the last 3. I mean, it goes without saying, right? That's some top-level analysis for you there, Lauren. If they want a chance of getting back into the second half, they need some rounds.
God, that is a solid sweeping statement. I support it thoroughly.
Clip it.
You coming from my job? Like, you getting into play-by-play?
Move over, Mitch.
Acend already getting this one started. Ballista look out of their depth on this, and a little unfortunate to see, but if anything, credit to Acend to turn up and elevate their gameplay. Looking very diligent here, nice composition. I'm loving Killes already showing what he can do on this Reyna here, proving once again, Reyna on this map is just, I feel it's almost a must-have. If you have a player who feels comfortable on a Reyna, I would hesitate to even consider not running it. It's such a valuable agent at the moment.
30 seconds left.
For now, however, round continues. They methodically take towards that A site, slowly but surely. Ultimate does get invested from Bone Cold. See a little bit of work coming back in last time around, but I don't think they quite have the utility there to hinder this as much as they'd like. Baddy G going to get the first pixel out of place.
Bone Cold bardzo ważny. Ale pult rozdał!
Wait,
Okay. Well, yeah, Coldamenta going to finish off stars though for Bold there, because he struggled massively. The res comes through. Karemi actually going to find Bone Cold off the back of that. Coldamenta using Hunter Fury prematurely, I guess preemptively at least. Put him in a position where he has to challenge it, but the plant's not actually good for him. He can't see it.
He's going to sit this. I don't know why you wouldn't. HP's decent, 99 still. Here we go. Did he get it in time?
He got it. He got it.
Oh. What was that round, though? Can we just say what the hell was that round? Like initially Bold, like sick 2K, picks it up. Huge, like nice little adjustment on the second.
Please don't run the replay of the missing.
Oh no, they're like, they'll be kind. They'll leave it to Coldamenta. Like that was. I mean, the graphic was all in on that, very close on either side. But I've got to say, overall, that was just such a weird round. Like it's super scrappy, and maybe that's what Ballista need is to create this kind of scrappy atmosphere.
Those days, a lot of floating camp scene head way ahead of us. We'll find that one. Actually, they're running back, popped in. This is weird because they got so much space already. Yeah, Bone Cold closes the distance on Baddy G, and okay,
He
well,
just played some deathmatch, which is nice. Just walked through the site.
Yeah, just
Literally walked through the site.
I guess that's where we're at now. Just W key up B lane. I've seen it, literally found that, but right here, the run it back pops so early, and look, Bone Cold actually finds Karemi coming to try and bail Baddy G out of that ultimate. But, okay.
Pretty confident, huh?
So what do you want to talk about?
I don't know, man. It's 10-1 and it's been quick. Like, how's your day been?
Good so far. Be an early finish.
True. The thing is that I can honestly see this still going like quite a long series.
Good, yeah.
Like that's the crazy part, but
yep.
we simply don't know. We don't have the footage so far, and we do see aggression, and then that aggression just gets swept aside by Acend. Investment of the res, so once again, no damage really done. Acend fancies a go at getting all the attention. This time the headline's going to be his. Us around Bone Cold getting all of the praise, but Acend so far putting on a show, finding another. That's just a beheading. This is just brutal work coming out.
Give it to him. Give it to him. Going hunting. Us man standing more fan. He is up in kitchen now. You can see on the X-ray. Do raise your edge. Give it to him. Yeah. They're running knife out in spawn. Bone Cold not even interested in it. Gile's gonna steal it away. Acend will close out the first half 11-1.
Switching sides.
Bone Cold almost on 20 as well. Pretty solid half. Acend looking good. I think every single aspect of this is working fantastically for Acend. Incredibly diligent. All their players looking super warm today. You've got no one coming in cold, it looks like, so Gotta say it, this is a great display for any of the Acend fans out there already kind of hoping they do well, because this is an elimination game, and this is already going to put a lot of pressure on a very young team.
It does, yeah. I mean, we talk about getting to this stage, but really this is the last test on the list, to be honest, right? Backs against the wall, nothing else to lose, everything to prove for Ballista. And they've already been pressed to get to this stage. Stolen a few hearts along the way. It'd be terrible to see them go out in this fashion and not put up a fight. That's yeah, Ballista holding steady for the time being. I'm not sure if this is anticipating some aggression on the side of Acend, but stacked up outside A right now. QXV the only man elsewhere. Maybe going to throw down a little bit of a fake, but look at the setup from Acend here. 3 on A site. Hold a mentor in mid. Acend are ready for this. QXV has got to sell this fake to break this formation of Acend right now.
They're not completely falling away just yet. And the rotation coming out from the attacking side as well, swinging around from A towards B.
Yeah, actually, I guess this is on the back of QXV not really getting any contact whatsoever. Nobody's even taken a look to see if it is a fake, right? They haven't spotted a single body on the defensive side. See, Bone Cold happy to play deep on this one.
Not a bad plan by any means. Wall again going to at least allow and facilitate the plant to come through. Now into the post plant we go. Acend very dedicated to that stack towards A, and it almost paid off with the adjustment, as you said, after seeing so much freedom coming out from QXV. Committed to it, but still. Coming back in.
Oh, the counter wall.
Wait. Can anyone stop this? They're just going to pour bodies in. Is anyone still on? Okay, they've put it up towards halfway now. The kill's going to come through. Look at the fight coming out. Killer's going to post himself forward, but his body in the way. Cold and Mentor flies in, and now just Morphan alive. Not for long.
Match point.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy, really. I mean, it shows just how useful that wall is in the pistol round. I mean, nobody checking to make sure that Acend can't retake control of site. And right there, I mean, as long as Acend challenge whilst the wall is reinforcing, really nobody can focus it to break it. There was a molly in between, which I guess got them off for a few seconds, but there was a gap in the corner that somebody could stay in between those two walls, and also the defuse coming through. So Acend put themselves on map point here on Icebox.
Yeah, this is just a beat down, and maybe a little bit of life left in some of them, but you've got to say it. This should be a closeout for Acend. A great performance by them. You can see Killer's just feeling it, just flexing on them now. Ballista certainly kind of exploded on the scene as a team to watch, but right now it's not looking very pretty. Batty G. Last one alive in a 1v3.
Co tu się dzieje w ogóle? To ja nie
Potentially
wiem.
there, but no. CNET to close. That is business for Acend. They want to get onto the next map. They want to get away from this elimination game. They want none of what is being trying to be sold by Ballista.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just a statement to make, really. Coming into the elimination game and absolutely picking Ballista apart. I mean, didn't even have a look at it. There's not even an awful lot to say about it, to be honest with you. I mean, some of those rounds played out, you know, in the fashion that we'd expect Ballista to take rounds, right? Just all-out deathmatch from Acend. So, yeah, I mean, shake it off, walk away. That's the best you can do in this scenario.
Yeah, as much as I'd really like to credit Acend with a huge 13-1 performance against an equal team, that map felt like it was never with Ballista. They did not look comfortable by any margin. It simply was a poor map from them and an excellent one from Acend. They played to their own skill level, never dipped down, never relented. The, you know, Bone Cold having a fantastic little run of things.
Yeah.
Killers was there in the earlier round. CNED consistently present. They had all their heavy hitters in the right place. Whereas, of course, for Ballista, I don't think any of them broke double digits in frags at this point. So again, it was an absolute drumming. So I don't think there's really much to be said from us. I, however,
Masakra,
know that the
nie? Pierwsza
analysis
mapa
has some
masakra
incredible
jakaś,
content,
kurde.
I'm sure, of
13-1.
It's very, very easy for desks to break down intricacies that we just
Cue
saw.
the telestrator?
Exactly, Telestrator's coming up. It's all going to be there, but no, we're going to head back to the desk after a short break to give you a little bit of a glimpse as to what we just saw.
Ile ta mapa
and see
trwała?
what's coming up.
Let me show you how the boss does it.
Win. Show me where to go.
One enemy remaining.
Rise up. Może być ciężko, nie? Zobaczymy jaka mapka teraz. Pewnie będzie Haven teraz, mi się wydaje. Zaraz przewinę i zobaczę. Nie wiem, czy jeszcze będę miał pokazane w ogóle. A nie, na Twitterze jest przecież wybór mapek. No ładnie, ładnie, ładnie. Ładny performance chłopaki pokazują. No jestem ciekawy, czy będzie taka sama dominacja na drugiej mapie jak na pierwszej. No druga mapa będzie wyborem Ballisty, więc może być trochę inaczej. Zobaczymy. Ciekawy, kurczę, no. Dobra, idę szybko na papierocha i jestem za sekundę z powrotem.
to the European Valorant Regional Masters, where Acend have just taken down Ballista 30.
Kurde, miałem iść zapalić, przepraszam. Idę szybko zapalić i lecimy z drugą mapą.
And Lothar, not gonna lie, I barely even had time to make a cup of tea, and next thing I knew, it was all over on Icebox. What happened?
When I mentioned in the pre-show that both teams should be better on attack, you know, because they are historically speaking just such an attack-based, let's say, teams in general, right? I didn't mean that it's some one team just gonna pick up 11-1 and then just close it out after pistols, you know. I feel like Ballista didn't even show up on attack because they didn't have the chance, right? They just lost the pistol, which can happen, and that's it. Basically, they have to force second round, and if they don't win that, well, the entire match is already gone. But on the note of forcing, I'm actually really surprised that Ballista did force round 2 of the entire match after they lost the pistol round on defense, because Icebox is such a long-range map, and they kind of forced themselves into a very short-term solution to this, right? Because they had to play Spectres, Stingers, maybe a Bucky somewhere, and play close range, and that was easily read by Acend to close out that round as well, then get a freebie on round 3, and that snowballed and snowballed and snowballed. We rarely have seen Ballista with a full buy, and honestly. And also, what is very uncharacteristic for Ballista is that they never actually lurked. There was the only one round where Batty G was in the spawn of the opponents, and that's basically it. They had no post-planned solution, no contingency plan for that Viper, nothing about the snake bites going on planned. It was actually kind of a head scratcher for me how Ballista didn't play like themselves in this match.
Yeah, on the defense, I was really hoping with this composition there was going to be a lot more to talk about from Ballista, because I mentioned going into the game, their defense has been weak. They chose to start defense. They had a good comp for it as well. You know, that Killjoy especially, when you add that into the mix, from what we see from most teams, you'll be playing often with a Sage, but taking in either a Killjoy or a Cypher, it doesn't happen every single time. Matter of fact, you look across at Ascend's pick, obviously, and you can see it there. But what surprised me was that a lot of the time that these fights were taking place, it felt very much like we were having an A-centric attack, right? Acend were able to go towards the A side a whole lot, and eventually, I think around round 5 or 6, Bold repositioned his utility that had been on B a couple of times, moved it over towards the A site, where it was actually going to get some use, because typically he was using it to watch underneath the tube, B pushes, but those things weren't happening, or there was a Viper wall cutting his turret off from really having any vision. They move the utility over and he plays A side, and you're thinking, okay, this is where they have a strong A defense, but he gets picked off. He was the first player to die in that round, and that actually, I think he was the second. Killaz went down to the ult from QXV, but the thing that shocked me was the fact that your Killjoy is taking those fights on range. Acend had the read. Okay, we see the Killjoy utility is here. We're going to play far back. We're going to take those fights, kill the Killjoy, and then get the site pretty much for free. And this happened a number of times, and then when they didn't have the Killjoy there, it was just a steamroll.
Well, we are moving on to Bind next, and Lothar, as you know, this is Ballista's playground. They have only ever lost one time on Bind. How would you like to see them recover from what just happened on Icebox?
Something that we had seen from FPX yesterday, right? Although the scoreline wasn't as bad for FPX as for Ballista right now, they have to like go through those nerves of losing 1-13 and risk of being eliminated from the tournament while losing the second map to such a similar scoreline. It's gonna leave a stain on the honor from the team, right? They're a very, very young team, very impressionable as well, and all of those players, I'm sure 100% those young players have nerves, you know, coming into this tournament. They're gonna have that issue that nerves might be affecting the way they play. We have seen some very questionable rounds from the one when, in example, Batty G ulted with his Phoenix just out in the open when he was,
oh my god,
basically surrounded. It was kind of
jeszcze tego mi tu brakowało tej.
And now on Bind, I feel like they need to go back to the drawing board when they had been showing up in the past, showing how Fnatic was wrecked basically on Bind, right? the signature play by Ballista. So very strong attack with super quick executes.
Well, we are going to head into Agent Select very shortly, and maybe we'll talk over that. But they are starting on T side this time around, that Ballista as in. So in theory, you know, we might see a similar situation we just saw in Icebox.
Well, look, Ballista's attack side is very, very strong. We know that, especially on Bind. It's where they found that 9-round half versus Heretics, and then they got 1 round out of 11 on the defense. So straight away, we need a strong
Ballista
first half
standardowo
run,
raczej,
now,
nie?
okay, it might not be Heretics that they'll be facing, but they're going to be coming up against CNET, who typically, sure, attack side doesn't have as much damage as he does on the defense, but if he can shut them down defensive side to start off this first half, if that op really turns up, then Ballista are in a lot of trouble because they rely on this attack side being strong.
Well, as you guys can see in the Agent Select, we have reverted back to that Phoenix and Sky, of course. They love that, and for Ballista. And for Acend, they've gone with their usual comp, the Fnatic comp, but again with the Jet instead of the Raze. I know we have had some issues with that specific team comp, but we are going to head into the game right now and see how they do. Ballista must win this if they don't want to be eliminated today. Over to you, Pansy and Hypok.
Yeah, thank you so much, Inzu. I just sat there going, okay, we've got Viper and Sky, Phoenix and Sky, we've got the walls with that pop flash capability coming in, one more kind of to instigate, one more in those post plants that kind of, I feel, is a little bit of their strengths, but this has to be a huge turnaround now for Ballista, right? Like, they've just been absolutely curb stomped, and now they're gonna have to come back and somehow pick themselves up as a young team. That can't be easy.
No, so I mean, this is a big test of mental fortitude. At the same time, you know,
Czemu tak
I
rozmazane?
talked about a couple of things leaning into Ballista's playstyle a little heavier. I think now actually they could just throw everything at the second map, right? And that really does kind of lean in their favor. That they can kind of embrace the chaos, you know, put
Dobra,
the pressure
jedziemy,
back
nie?
onto Acend here in map 2.
Okay. Right. So, again, Ballista's strong point was that attack side that we saw before. I think for me to start believing them again after having such a disastrous map 1, they've got to come out and have a absolutely belting half. You know, they've got to regain all of that confidence because they know going into that second half that they're a little under the gun, as we noted. However, already live into this one, it will be Ballista, of course, starting out on the attack. So a huge win condition for them is those strong attacking sides, and they know it. However, on the other side will be Acend on the defense. You can see CNED already with Stark Zone. Nice little crossfire here. Attention goes towards Elbow, but it will be Batty G to fall at this point. This is a great hold again from Acend. They can fall away to slightly deeper positions. They still have that crossfire in perfect place.
I'm going to ask you to carry this one through, Lauren, because I'm having a few more technical difficulties here, so...
No worries. Do you think
Flawless
carry on
round, my
having a
brothers
chat?
and
I'll
sisters.
start taking
Flawless.
questions from Twitch chat when I truly get lonely and desperate, as is the way. But you know what, Twitch chat? This is your time. Analysis, right? Hypok has left me. He's off somewhere. No one knows where. Give me some win conditions for Ballista. That's my question to you, Twitch chat. I need to hear your thoughts. I have both chats open because I'm that insecure and I need your validation. So I will be reading it when the delay catches up. So you may be genius if it all works out. Anyway, we are going back into the second round now. And of course the buy substantially further established for Acend. Looks like a shower set piece. Something that Ballista did when it was going well was fight tooth and nail for this. That could have been big. I don't think it actually got any damage. So I'm sure we just have a nice burst straight out. Actually, Sky going for just the deeper flashes here. And yeah, this is just a massacre. Absolute blender of a round. 2 flawless rounds now. So the money is going to be in the bin for Ballista, even coming into their purchase. Yes, they'll be able to get it, but they don't get any of the frills. They don't get that buffer going further forward. No spike plants, and as said, no damage done in reality. Hopefully chat catches up real soon. I need your opinions. Even if Hypok comes back, I'm going to ignore him anyway, so I'm waiting. I've actually extended the windows now. But starts out with a great start. But I've just got to say, overall, Acend just had fantastic crossfires. You saw it on that kind of thing. And again, this is something we saw with Ballista, those extremity plays, kind of all-ins. If you've got really solid crossfires, it's going to be very hard to break it. So, for now, rinse and repeat. No information over towards long as it stands. So, now going to hear where this is going to potentially come from. CNED already going to be up on that op, looking fantastic on this already today. Seekers go in, they know there's more. This time to surround. There could be a flank even coming if they fancy it. Cena doesn't even have to see them to kill them. He's making it look so simple. Starkso on the cross, and this could be another flawless round. Morfan feeling maybe a little overwhelmed, a little shaken to the core. Finally do some damage. But now look at it, 20 HP, surrounded, nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. Acend mean business today, and they're taking nothing less than perfection as 3 rounds sit on the board. Okay, all my points on Ballista again. You're a brave person, Naughty Muppet in chat. That might be Hypok's new name. Hypok, are you back with us, or are you still dying?
I'm still clinging to life, but yeah, it's no better.
It does seem as though I have some
Hypok
work
tam
coming
kurwa
from chat.
troszeczkę
Second says, I
troszeczkę
predict both
go-
teams will have fun. Well, so far one team is having fun, so you're halfway there on your prediction. Good choice.
Troszeczkę za nie mówił,
Carry
nie?
on for a bit until you're fully fixed.
Widząc co tutaj się dzieje.
Yeah. No worries, Sheriff's galore. We have a full 5 Sheriff round. Doesn't sound as good as like a deco. We need the Chico. That sounds terrible. But it is just Sheriffs coming out for Ballista, as that's pretty much all they have to work with. And the 3-play stack, this is actually pretty decent in the fact that Starkso was anti-flash, so he was perfectly fine. Now, a little bit of a different look, I guess, for the attacking side. It's not brilliant, though, as they've had real no success anywhere, and even the aggression as
Patrzcie,
well
jaką oni mają
considered
kontrolę
by
mapy,
Acend.
nie?
The 3-play in towards showers is a great
Kible
response
są
to them trying to
zajęte.
get cheeky with those pistols
Na
coming
longu nie
through.
ma nikogo.
Is still just holding this down himself,
Ale
but it
tu
will be
jest
towards
trzech na
A.
B.
Jet gonna get the attention. That's gonna be Cned now noting there's
Przełączcie na
maybe 3,
Cineda,
4
halo!
players here. You've got support of Starkso coming around. Starkso's been wonderful
Nie ogarniam.
at this, by the way. He's been really good in these supporting moments. They do get a spike plant. That's more than expected. They've been able to kind of cut the map into a more manageable area considering they are on those sheriffs. So spike now down. They have to just try and withstand this retake, which is going to be a little bit tricky considering the outweighing of the weaponry. Already Cena going to find Kareme, and it's down to 3. They've got to see a quick succession of kills. We need, you know, the sheriffs to really come out and play. They've found one. One ain't going to be enough. QXV. Dead. Gone. Done for. Right. Okay.
Elo, elo, Poncello. Kurwa, przyszedłeś praktycznie chyba na samą końcówę, ziomuś ty.
You have gone for the Batty G just kills everyone. Very ambitious. But he was pretty solid before, and that's a good point. Batty G was a huge instigator in a lot of their moments. I think that's an incredibly good point you bring up. I'm talking to you like you're my co-caster. Welcome to the show.
Oj, przepraszam was.
Control, and then, you know, the Sky Flash is just a little bit deeper just to secure so much entry. But right now, they are once again being just pounded in this. You've got Starkso on 8-1. Cned is yet to die on 7-0. So it's going to be incredibly hard, but they need to find a way back in. Fly's going to come back out at least. Kareme, we've got a couple yet to frag, you know? Yet to frag. We'll get there. And again, thank you for your support at home. Cned getting a little overconfident. But you know what? I can't blame him. At 4-0, when you've been absolutely shredding them, you've got a round to play with. Yeah, that's an opt-down. That could be an issue, but other than that, early information down, this could be a problem coming in for Ballista.
O, dostał.
Wanted. I think he got a tag out of that, but certainly no frag.
Masakra jakaś, nie?
Oh well, I guess the ult wasn't going to do it, so switch around to the rifle and they'll do just fine. And once again, all that early work, taking down Cena. They say early work, Cena did just go mad aggressive on that, which is fine. I actually don't mind it in these sort of rounds. Your bank's going to be absolutely lush by the end of this, so why not have a little crack at it? Try something different. They instantly got the trade out. Now, Seekers coming out are going to at least give away that there's a problem coming their way. They know where to be able to get those rotations going. Viper's on the way, Sova's on the way, and now it's going to be down to that one player with the support of Bone Cold, sat in the corner. This man is so good. He's been having a stellar series. Truly overperforming, even to his standard. And they just simply did not check those corners as well as they should have. Sometimes it is that simple, but he had the trigger discipline, decided to wait for them to cross, all that attention focused towards the site, and there he was.
One enemy remaining. Spike down A.
Coming back in, are we really gonna see another, what was it, 13-1? It's 5-0 so far, And the money's fantastic already, what, 7k, 7.6, sitting towards CNED and Killers. They're already in a brilliant position. On the other side, of course, you're seeing a Judge, Spectres. This looks like a pacey piece coming out towards A for now. Not too subtle about it. Bone Cold doesn't want to stick around. He does have his ult online. Keep in mind, he
Tu
could
się
certainly do
dzieje,
some
nie?
damage in this one. Stark, so
Pierwsza mapa, kurwa, 13-1, nie?
Oh, that's huge again, Stark. So the value to this man's work, the crossfires earlier on, but Killers has been caught by Bold, so that's a bit of an issue. But no, CNED there instantly equates this one right back to an even playing field. No problems for them, and even takes it further. We're down to just 2. This is CNED
my
just
God!
giving them hell. And now just 1. Spike unable to
Oh
respond
my
after early
God.
work coming out from Starkso, who stayed alive, by the way. He was amongst the wolves, surrounded, still perfectly fine. The support perfectly placed from CNED. Now QXV, this position's noted. He is not having a fun time here. And that gun probably ain't gonna help. This is as one-sided as this cast is right now.
No nie wiem co powiedzieć,
10
nie?
and 1 for CNED. 10 and 1 for
Nie wiem co
Starks.
powiedzieć, bo tu tak
We have
szybkie
two
mecze,
players,
kurwa,
and
że...
Badigi is one of them, and Kareme is the other on 0-6. And normally there is a timeout coming in. This might be for Ballista, I'd imagine, at this point.
No ale oni mają 6 killi,
I
nie?
would say the one thing is for me in this scenario that you need Badigi to come online. Frags aren't everything, but as someone who was kind of the grand equalizer for them to be able to take pot shots at the top tier teams, they need Badigi to come online. And right now they are being absolutely suffocated. Oh, do I have a new co-caster?
Yeah, hey, I'm gonna fill in. You know, I went upstairs a little bit from the room down below, so I can help you color here a little bit, you know. But it's not much to say.
Yeah, I was about to say, they
right?
brought in the, you know, the brain of the bunch, and you've got a 6-0, so good luck, man.
It's a little bit awkward, but I have to say,
Disgusting.
there's some fundamentals lacking right now from Ballista, especially that Bone Cold triple.
Yep.
That was something that I didn't anticipate we're gonna see at this level of play, right? No one from Ballista actually checked one of the corners when just executing on site. It seems very odd.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised because, as said, this team, like Ballista, have got decent results against big teams. Not a lot of them, but as you said, they're missing some of those fundamentals that are really showing now. Maybe the pressure's got to them. Who knows? This is something that we're going to have to kind of review almost in post as to how they can have such a, you know, perfect performance in one moment and yet have none of that reliability to fall back to. Maybe kind of the new team curse coming out.
New
Yeah, it
team
seems like they
curse.
are falling back on something that we rarely see them do, which is a default positioning on the map. Look at that. Everyone covering one of the lanes, trying to catch Acend off guard when they try to like get map control, but here Acend is playing very defensively. Nothing is happening. They just have basically garden control, A long, and B long, and that's about it. They don't push, they don't get any map control, but no one is trying anything from both of the sides. There's one utility piece being used in showers, which doesn't get any kind of info. It's the same on A short. They have to be playing very deep, and that's the info that Acend is getting, so they just play on site. Very smart choice. While Ballista, not finding any kind of info, now they have to gather because they're running out of time. We have seen such a type of play in the past from FPX on Split, which was not successful, right? They're running out of time. They have to go on site where there's almost no utility being used. Now there's the entry.
Yeah, huge pop here coming out from Badigi. He needs to get on the board. Bear in mind, yet to frag, it seems, at the moment. QXV going to dive on in there. Still yet to find anyone. 20 seconds, there's 2 players on the site still. Sky and Brim now joined as well by CNED coming over with that up. Morphan is watching the flank, but ooh, that was a little sketchy on the first, but he didn't check for the second. Coldamenta still around here as well. Spike is down. And Coldamenta trying to work a little bit further forward. CNED as well on the case. They're already picking up a couple of kills, but Badigi finally putting some
4 na
numbers on the
3.
board
Może
here.
teraz, może teraz Ballista zrobi pierwszą rundę.
Still pretty sketchy. CNED's trying to make this stylish. Up and over, gets a little bit of a look in, but Morphan, nice adjustment around here. This could be big for him, considering there's 3 players completely unawares. Morphan does very well in that. Lovely readjust.
Finally a round win, first one on Bind, but you have to take into consideration they lost 13-1. So in general, they had been losing 19 rounds in this entire match and only picked up 1. So this is a huge win for the morale of the team, but I have to also question, Acend was actually playing really well this round, but then they did nothing to just delay the plant, which was something that I feel like had to be done. especially by Brimstone and by Viper, which was Viper was rotating actually through market. So that's, unless you have a lineup for that, you can't really do the plan. But hey, this seems like a quick initiation on B-Long to get that orb control. Very important when you play so many 6 charges on your team with this guy, to get a lot of information with her ultimate. Especially important
Zaraz go
when you play
przyciszę,
with
nie?
a Viper ult as well. You can combo this together. This is actually pretty cool when you try to retake or just try to rotate towards A and use that for information as well.
Now this is interesting, as highlighted, the investment of utility this round is drastically different. Now, you can see that Acend are almost very aware that Showers is completely open. They've dedicated themselves to locking off that short play towards A. They have the Viper
Kurwa,
ultimate there.
400 IQ
They have
zagrywka
CNED
w
on the
ogóle.
up above it. So as said, CNED is watching that cross, a very unique cross to be holding, but if Ballista dare to go through this, that is a very brave way to probably die.
I cannot. I have to close my eyes. This is a death wish. Going for that ultimate through a snake bite, you can't really do that because you die almost instantly. And then what is even more important, on Showers, you have a one-way from Viper, so you can't really go through that. Look at this. QXV on 1 HP, he is on a DK, right? So he's gonna go up, but I'm not certain if he's actually full. He is full, so he didn't get any damage going through that. But now they push through it. They get the damage. 1, 2, 3.
This was a disaster waiting to happen, Lothar. You said it perfectly, and they walked readily into the trap. I have never seen a lamb look so happy to go to the slaughter. They just walked straight through it.
I am just scratching my head right now. This is such a big, let's say, ballsy play, but it's set up to fail, right? You go for a Viper ultimate. That Viper ultimate is so long. There's like a long corridor that you have to push through. Even when you try to do it full sprint, first of all, your opponents will know that you're coming because you hear them footsteps, right? You hear all of those people just rushing in because you don't want to get that full DK damage, but you're still gonna get like 50, which then translates to 3 body shots from a Phantom or a Vandal, and you're dead. You don't even have to aim for those headshots. Nuts.
And look at the state of the money. You've got 1 rifle, I think, 1 SMG, and then pistols, unless Batty G's holding something else. But 7-1, kind of on track to the scoreline we saw not too long ago. Different look, though. You can see the spike is down. It looks as though they'll be trying to do their best here. Bone Cold's still got his own problems to handle, though. And it's more fan to connect, so maybe a little bit of room found by Ballista. That confidence is maybe there. This post plant worked well for them in the past. CNED's turning that op into a shotgun at this range, but again, no way to deny this so far. They have to get rid of lamps. That's going to help out, though. Starkso finding Morphan. Now the bait on the spike up and over. That was bold from CNED. This is a great little post plant coming out from Ballista, but Starkso still on the case, but time is beginning to dwindle and the readjust coming around. Proactive in the post plant, something we consistently said was a huge benefit for Ballista, and this time it works out even in this lighter purchase round.
It's you have to put attention to the fact that this round was solely won because Ballista out-aimed Acend in this round, right? The kill from Batty G with just a classic, I think that was just a right click with 2 dinks on the head, was a game changer. They needed that lamp control because
the right click was a game changer.
From a shot in the back to make an additional backstab. So they needed more people
Kurwa się chce grać,
to
nie?
get those lanes covered. So I feel like, okay, they won the round, but it should have not been a win just if you just take a look at the round on paper, right? But now a new one is starting up, and
Oni
I have
13.
to like kind of sigh, you know, because 5 people going into hookah to get that control, you basically forfeit everything else on the map, right? If Acend is now trying to get a lot of map control, which is not currently happening, they would already know what is happening. But Coldamenta opens up.
Oh, and Killer's there to catch the cross already. Acend looking comfortable with this. They know exactly where they're coming from. You said there was only 1 point of attack, but there is the adjustment eventually from Morphan. Puts himself towards long, but that's going to be found out pretty soon. I'm not sure if Starkso got the full image. I'm not sure how much he worked out, but there is the Viper on the case. Killers does not let that go for free. The trade does come out for Batty G, but the numbers simply heavily favoring Acend here. Batty G, wall goes up, and maybe they can start considering that spike cross if he doubled down, but 1 is not going to suffice. There's a late lurk coming out from Bone Cold as well. Now with the res, though. Oh, I was going to say game back on, but
questionable.
this ultimate coming out.
they actually get the kill out of that, I'm honestly super surprised. This is a huge win for Ballista. They still have a chance in this round. They go on the side, but two people are just feeding Cold Dementa those orb charges. He was just waiting for that. They enclosed already the space from Market. They knew that both people are in hookah after the res, because that res was done in a moment when no one was pressuring them on side, which I feel like it was a little bit off-timed by Ballista here, right? If you want to invest in that ultimate, you do it as soon as possible when Buddy G is trying to get map control and distract the opponents from using any kind of utility to kill that guy that is being rezzed. So that was a little bit awkward, but they still almost had it if there was a successful kill on Sova. They failed because they had to drop from hookah, a very terrible position to be in, but now a new one, again a default setup from Ballista. They get a little bit of map control, they know that someone is pushing showers, but nothing comes out of it.
No, and what I am realizing is the correlation that Ballista started to play better as soon as you joined me, so maybe you're their lucky charm, who knows? But they do need more than just two. Hopefully they can stabilize a bit further for their sakes. Keep in mind that Acend did have that build-up of bank, right? Like, they had a good economy established by now. So, you know, eventually it might get broken, but they will be able to have a good couple of rounds to lean onto. This was a very late sight hit last time from Ballista. I wonder what the kind of instigating factors are for them in this round. I guess the ultimate might be one of them. Baddy G is going to pop that. Has a little run through, already looking towards site. There's a bit of a trade out though. Already Ballista catching some of these players on the extremities. The push comes in and Baddy G is putting some heavy lifting, but that spike is still towards B. This could be a huge problem. Killers, if he gets that frag, oh, he just got blinded. You can see Bone Cold on the hunt as well. If they caught that one player making the mad dash bold with the spike, that would have been GG this round, but no, they make it away for now. Viper, look how close they are to this one. Baddy G is playing bodyguard right now.
They actually don't know that Achilles did use the teleport. No one was close enough to hear that trigger. Both of the players were either on Market or on Haven A. So if they expect someone to go CT, they have no clue that two players will go from A short. A smoke already drops on lamps, cutoffs. The vision from Ballista, if they have to go through lamps. Oh, this is gonna be awkward. Bonk, 50 HP. He is dead, and that's about it. 3 rounds for Ballista on this half is still not good enough. They need that one more. You can argue that Bind is a little bit more defense-based, but with how we know Ballista plays on Bind, this is a terrible scoreline so far. They're very aggressive.
Oh.
They try to get, you know, that, let's say, they try to compensate the weaknesses in their composition by being more aggressive and more effective on attack. With only winning 3 rounds so far, and maybe 4, this match might be already over, but I don't want to say, you know, without seeing the Bind defense yet from Ballista. But this is a fast round. There's already a satchel in. Goes into the showers, gets the first blood on Bone Cold.
Okay. It's game back on. Bone Cold finally being caught out there. This is going to spur on the aggressive hit. They know Viper's on towards the site as well, of course, now noting position. Don't know about Cold Dementa yet, who's traditionally been playing over towards B, but these rotations are in. Cold Dementa, oh, a bit of a sketchy exchange, but Killers bails him out. Finally reveals his position. Seeker's invested, but as is QXV. Did the nade just find it? It did, but Cold Dementa is still right there. They have been unable to get rid of these players on the site, and now they're just stuck on short.
Hey, it turns out there's a counter to the showstopper. You just put the jellyfishes in front of the rocket.
It's a great idea, apparently. And the ultimate's now coming down. They've got to invest everything. Cold Dementa, though, is the ultimate. This side starts, so finally shuts it out. And one player remains. Morphan is a little ahead of where they expect, but did Cena just see him? Even if he didn't initially, he does on the second try. And if I'm not mistaken, scoreline where it is, we will be switching over to the half, and we might be even switching casters. Hypoc, are you alive?
I am alive. I'm sorry to say Ballista are going to lose their good luck charm now because I have returned.
That's true. Lothar,
And it seemed,
you know, gotta
it
say.
seemed as though as soon as I came back, Ace won the round and closed out.
Downstairs. Okay, bye-bye.
Bye, Lothar. But thank you very much for hopping in and taking place of the traitor who left me. Hypoc.
I feel bad now.
You should.
I feel bad for Ballista.
How? I can't believe you've done this. 3 to 9. How much of that did you get to see, or were you?
Not an awful lot, I'll be honest. I came back to hear the good luck charm comment, and I was like, oh, actually, Ballista might close out 8-4.
That's a little much. We'll go for 9-3 for now. Acend still look really good. The buffer of money just helped for a substantial amount then.
And I mean, straight away, I mean, the same concerns from map 1, right, is now Ballista need to convert this defensive half to really get themselves back into this game. Acend gonna send 3 up B long, and it's only one member of Ballista here forced all the way back into Elba is Karemi. Mike is over there, but it look like they might be poised for a TP rotate here. Maybe just trying to bait out one more player to this B site. Here you go, 2 gonna hit it. 3rd comes through also. Actually, yeah, it's gonna. Ballista have held strong with this stack right now, Lauren.
Yeah, they have, but the defensive side did evade them for some form of success in the past, but maybe they've been able to work on it a bit. Maybe something they have been working on. I feel they have to get this pistol, but this was an early attempt. This was around the minute marker. Now we've got about 50 seconds left, and look at those mad rotations. They've been able to pull this 4-play stack towards A, and there is a very passive Sova, so they are expecting the re-aggress towards A potentially, and as we can see, not the case.
Oh, now actually Karemi all the way back in spawn. I guess he's anticipating one more player lurking after that TP rotation, but they're going to commit to the full retake on B here. You can see now all this utility invested onto B. It's going to finally draw a rotation. Now actually 3 of them going to hit the TP towards Hooker.
Okay, already though, Karemi gets a little bit of a fight going now. The thing is, look at this retake. The 3-play retake coming in through Hooker is going to be pretty hard to handle already, though CNED's going to dip out of that. He realizes maybe outnumbered a little, finds a more favorable angle, but still loses. QXV doing very well. Killer's going to try and maybe pick up that mantle, catch the cross. Yes, lovely shot towards Batty G. Still Bold is alive, a 1v1 now. Sky v Sky. It looks like it. He's sitting this. You got to speed up here, Starkso. Starkso. Sharp as well. And this is a scary one now for Ballista, as much as, yes, there were a couple of moments in the later stages of the first half where it started to look a bit better. Not winning this pistol is going to once again put them pretty much in the bin, and they're going to be having to force into this constantly. Even with the plant, the kills, they can't not now.
Yeah, and the thing is, with all this pressure mounting now, I mean, Acend can play out the rounds in that manner, right? They can play the mind games, they can hit the rotations, try and bait out Ballista to stack towards one side, as we see him this time around. Morfan will join Karemi on B. Old going to send a flash all the way out. No information off the back of that, so we'll retrieve that orb. They're going to stay with 3 for the time being. Actually, no, Batty G now going to hit the rotate. Again, look for Morfan to try and commit to the retake here. I don't want to see them challenge with this many bodies of Acend.
Na chwilę obecną jest masakra, nie?
Long.
Okay, full information that site is as clear as it can be. This is going to be a spike plant and a pretty good post plant considering they have hookah and they have long. These retakes are going to be really cornered in, and you can see Killers is going to add to that. This is when Viper becomes
Patrzcie, gdzie oni idą, nie? Patrzcie, gdzie oni idą na postplancie w ogóle.
Control of,
Tam nie ma nikogo na sajcie.
It's going to be really difficult. I mean,
masakra,
to
nie?
put the gas on right now to try and get the first half down, but the trades come through. Ascend actually going to come out on top of that. Karemi will find 2 though in response.
Ładnie, ładnie.
Yeah, but you still got Viper to deal with, which is the problem.
Here we go.
Here we go. Welcome to Viper in post plants. It truly is her world. God, I hate myself. But it doesn't even matter if you got the kill or you wouldn't have had the time. Very well done. And this was the strength that we said. Someone like a Phoenix can work really well as an instigator. You get the wall, you get the pop flashes with Sky in combination. Whereas on the other side, you get the post plant. You know, when it comes in with Viper as well, with her wall, of course. So, you know, it's one of the 2 choices, and right now you just saw that post plant being paramount as well.
I mean, this is the thing, again, it relies, yes, they have Bold on the Sky this time around to try and find some early round information, but without that Sova, it just makes it so difficult here, because they have to stick with that 3-man stack on A, because there's no other reason for them to drop it at that point. This time, actually, Ascend going to lean a little heavier towards the A side, and the spike is over here as well. Well, I mean, much like Rainy, you know, Phoenix is one of those agents that relies on momentum, right? And actually, outside of abilities, you need to find those kills. You need to find that value. Otherwise, it can very, very easily start looking like a pointless pick.
Remy finding a great pick with that Sheriff already. Flashing towards Showers, or at least posturing for it. Both these teams are fighting for that. Coldamenta just walked out hookah. That's a problem. So half the map is now inaccessible.
No, mają ich podcinanych, już mają ich zamkniętych, nie?
What are they gonna do with this now? I mean, look at the map control that's being garnered. You still have Sage trying to, you know, you got Karemi trying to work out there's any threats, as their information is so limited. I like the fact that QXV is posturing up towards Showers, actually actively taking the fight, but it's banking so much on Morphan, finding big value now on this angle. And they don't check on him, to be fair. That is one for free, but you'd have had to have doubled down drastically.
Ooh, Remy actually got the revive here. Don't know, actually, yeah, looking at the mini-map, none of them really accessible for him, but he still has a slow and a wall. Like he might actually, I think he was considering going to get that res outside market, but it's just going to take so much time to get over there.
No, za długo by mu wzięło,
The
nie?
other three on A
Żeby
side. If
pobiec
he
tam
can
do
slip in
marketu,
and get Baddy G
zrewajwować.
back on his feet, we're going to rely on Cold Dementer falling.
One enemy remaining.
That's a good start. He might actually be able to hit this here.
Player standing.
Oh no. Yeah, Killer's read it perfectly. Full swings on. Punish. Baddy G now with nothing but a sheriff and gonna throw the wall down, maybe try and get in here, but that snake bite gonna eat a lot of time for him. Killer swings through, picks up the kill, the 4th on the round. Acend put themselves on match point. 12-3 here on Bind.
Okay. They get the buy, but this is a bit of a bittersweet moment. Of course, I love the fact that Acend have come out and looked phenomenal. I've got to say it. They've looked like they are fighting for their life because this is a elimination game. So they've provided a brilliant display, but I was excited for the new prospect of this younger team, but it does feel as though that pressure has seemingly got to them. They look like a shadow of their former selves. They looked so confident before, so explosive, so well considered, and a fast ult coming out. They're just gonna try and run this down. Already, Baddy G's gonna go down for the fight as well. They're gonna be meeting them in. The Seekers go down. Uh-oh, you can't run, you can't hide. Bone Cold finds Baddy G. They double down. Bone Cold wants to close this now. He's got somewhere to be. They've got a dinner date to get to, but Morphan is still
1
alive,
HP,
but with
yeah,
only 1
pierdolę.
HP, and the ultimate forces him to have to make his way out of there. Killers finds Bold, and now a 2v4 to save their side.
They will retrieve the spike there. QXV going to find one. He's got to tuck away though. Aldrin will tag him up, and Morphan on 1 HP. Stiff breeze would blow him over at this point. QXV madly spamming through the stim beacon down. This is a tall order here for Ballista. Keep this map going.
And I think we can see how it's gone, sadly. It has been an underwhelming performance from Ballista. However, for Acend, a fantastic display of sheer survival. These guys weren't going to go down here. This was a big performance from them, a massive statement to be made as well. Considering that, you know, as said, a couple of these teams did quite well. Ballista pushing the likes of Heretics very, very well. They've beaten the likes of Fnatic. They've been picking up some big results. However, Acend looked like, as said, they were fighting for their lives in this. There was no holding back. You had big performances from most of their heavy hitters throughout this. Hypok, I don't know what else to really say about this one.
No, there's not an awful lot to take away from that. I mean, it's heartbreaking for Ballista to come on and like I said, be one of the glow-up teams we've seen from 2021 challenges in EU. But to be honest, Acend just taking things to the next level. That's a completely new look for them. The way they played that in terms of confidence, in terms of just brute force, which is something that's been lacking. I'll be honest. They've been very hesitant in some of their other series we've seen them play. That there, I don't know if that was just a no respect kind of mindset to that game versus Ballista, but they looked fantastic there.
Yes. Now, again, this is probably going to be the hardest part for you guys at home, is selecting your player of the match. There's a couple to pick from.
Let me guess.
Now, 1 or 2 of them definitely have a large fan base, so I wonder who's going to win it. My thoughts might be with CNED. I'm not sure, but as said, the CNED fans turn up. But regardless, get your votes in, head over to the socials down below on Twitter, and just give us a vote. See who you think.
No masakra, nie? Dwie masakry.
And again, we're going to take a short break here because obviously that was such a long series. It really took the life out of me. I'm going to go relax for a second and leave it over to the desk after this break.
Got the money in the bank.
pełna dominacja. Pełna dominacja, w ogóle gwałt. Gwałt przeprowadzony, nie? No, naprawdę. Aż kurwa szok, nie? Szok, że chłopaki tak zajebiście zagrali, nie? Naprawdę. Dziękuję bardzo, że byliście, odwiedziliście. Mam nadzieję, zobaczycie sobie jeszcze wideo za niedługo. Za niedługo wracamy z jakimiś gierkami, także dziękuję za oglądanie i do zobaczenia wkrótce. Trzymajcie się, piąteczka.